and gentlemen. We're having a great debate tonight, and now it's time on the debate for the nation's sharpest opinion. Now, pause for a moment and let it sink. Let it just sink to the world, the kind of record we've seen. One day, in less than 24 hours, 500,000 Indians have visited the Ram Mandir on day one. An oppressed civilization that was long taught to celebrate its invaders, celebrate Babur, celebrate the British, celebrate A.O. Hume, celebrate Annie Besant, celebrate Aurangzeb, celebrate Curzon, Dalhousie, one chapter on each of them in our history books. A civilization that was made to digest and humanize and pay ode to the colonizer is finally broken away. And how? India is finally one with its original civilizational heritage. The intellectual impoverishment of the BBCs, Time Magazine, Guardians of the West, Al Jazeera's never ceases to amaze me, ladies and gentlemen. I feel particularly bad for Al Jazeera because it is a terrible copy of a decaying original. You put a lot of rot on the BBC, so a rotting BBC's copy is Al Jazeera. I feel therefore particularly bad for Al Jazeera. All in one moment and in unison, now trying to craft a narrative that hardline Hindus have forcibly built a Ram Mandir where once there was a mosque. These same intellectually vacuous people, has-beens, do not see it. When in Britain, the entire consecration of the king is a purely Christian ceremony. I have one thought today, and I want to ask the BBC this. Very simply, why is everything Christian in the coronation ceremony of their king? Why don't they secularize the British monarchy? Keep preaching to us. But have they ever thought how Hindus would feel, how Muslims would feel, how Sikhs would feel in Britain when they see that the king only represents one faith? Only one faith. And they force it down everybody's throat and they say, this is a beautiful Christian ceremony and therefore we must all, irrespective of our faith, stand by the Christian faith on that one day. You see, the BBC don't have the ability or rather the courage to go into what the history of Ayodhya is in their poorly written propaganda pieces because the attention to detail of this movement that predates political leaders, dynasties will be lost on them. More so, ladies and gentlemen, the only question we need to ask tonight is why these lobbyists of the West, who masquerade as journalists, are so threatened by India reclaiming its identity. For when an Obama uses 2 Bibles to take oath on, not 1 but 2 Bibles, they cheer him on. They say, wonderful, Obama is secular. When the British say that the monarchy is a representation, embodiment of faith, when the king is the defender of their faith, then they say, no, the British are very secular. King Charles is secular. But you see, Hindus are commoner. And as far as Al Jazeera is concerned, when the Qataris commit the worst human rights violations on Indian laborers, the cowardly Al Jazeera will black it out. They can't say, you see, they get their money from that place. They can't say a word. Because if we take a peephole into the backsliding of democracies in the West, then the list is never ending, ladies and gentlemen. Never ending. I believe very strongly that with Bharat reclaiming our civilizational identity, with us getting proud and not just comfortable with our Hindu civilization. We are not just comfortable being Hindus, we are proud being Hindus. Garv se kaho hum Hindu hai. That predates all others, that in this moment we must resolve to also reclaim as proudly the narrative about our nation. Because no Western media can prattle and preach to India anymore. not to New India. Not anymore.